96.9 Boston Talks, Radio Row. Hank Morse at the Republican National Convention in Tampa. We're lucky to have Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson joining us. Senator, thank you for your time here on 96.9 Boston Talks.
Not a problem, Hank. Nice to be here.
A lot of excitement in Wisconsin, and your fellow senator, you must be very excited about Paul Ryan.
Oh, absolutely. No, not only is Paul just a fine individual, and as America gets to know Paul and his wonderful family, it's going to be very difficult for the left to demonize him. But, you know, I don't know anybody that's more knowledgeable about the federal budget, about what we need to do to get our fiscal house in order. But I tell you what really made me happy about it is it confirmed what I already knew about Governor Romney in my conversations with Governor Romney, is that here's a man who's not running for president because he wants the title. Here's a man who understands that America is in peril, and he actually wants to fix the problem. And the selection of Paul Ryan certainly signals to me that, you know, he's ready, willing, and able to do that. He's 100% dedicated to do it. You don't pick Paul Ryan as your running mate if you don't want to put forward real solutions.
I read your biography, and I would consider you akin to Mitt Romney because you were a lifelong businessman, very, very successful with a family business in the plastics industry.
Right.
Correct? What was it that made you say, hey, wait a second, you know, this is your first public office,
sure.
Correct?
Well, it was really when they passed the health care law. I mean, I recognized the health care system that we have in this country saved my daughter's life as an infant with a congenital heart defect. I mean, these wonderful people that dedicate their lives to saving other lives were the people that President Obama was demonizing. Remember he made that comment about, you know, doctors will take out a set of tonsils for a few extra bucks? Right. That's offensive. And I recognize when they passed that health care law what an assault that is on our freedom, how it's going to destroy our health care system, lead to rationing, limit innovation, the things that saved my daughter's life. And by the way, it's going to bankrupt this nation. So that's really what got me involved in this.
Can you talk a little bit about Paul Ryan's ideas about Medicare?
Sure.
And the voucher system?
Well, premium support. But listen, the first thing to say about the Paul Ryan, Democrat Senator Ron Wyden bipartisan Medicare reform is that it does nothing to benefits for people currently retired or people about to retire. 55 and over, you have traditional Medicare, no changes. What it concentrates on is preserving the program, saving it for future generations. Because the extreme position on Medicare is to do nothing and the program is bankrupt. And it's also true that the only individual that has actually passed a law that specifically loots Medicare to the tune of $716 billion in the current 10-year budget window is President Obama. And why does he loot it? To pay for an unaffordable health care law that's going to take over 1/6 of our economy. That's the same reason that same law that just made me step up the plate.
What do you say about Mitt Romney, however, who was the governor of Massachusetts and passed health care reform in Massachusetts as well?
Totally different situation. I mean, Massachusetts, from my understanding, had guaranteed issue, which was starting to bankrupt the health care plans because, you know, if you can get health care even with a pre-existing condition, no questions asked, why do people buy health care? They'll wait till they get sick. That's not a sustainable system. So he took the federalist model and he experimented on a state basis, where the states actually have the authority to do that. On a federal basis, it's an entirely different situation. You know, it's one size fits all model doesn't work. I mean, we realize that the federal government has no capability of doing it. So Mitt Romney, trust me, is dedicated to repealing this very unpopular, very partisan health care law that we simply can't afford to have that thing implemented.
All right, you're a businessman, 42 consecutive months with unemployment
above 8%.
Yeah. And what would you say the real number of unemployment is in this country?
11.1%.
11.1%.
If you add in the 4.5 million Americans that have simply given up hope and dropped out of the labor force, the real number is 11.1%. You add in people that are underemployed, part-time employed, it shoots up to that 16% level.
The Obama administration, they inherited a recession. Recession ended about 2 years ago, technically.
Right.
What does a Ryan administration have to do to get it below 8%, and how fast could they do it?
What we need to do is we need to remove the uncertainty. We need to have an entirely different attitude toward business. You know, in Wisconsin, Scott Walker came into office and said, you know what, Wisconsin's open for business. We need a president, vice president that, first of all, are optimistic, understand what made America great. It's a free enterprise system. Start enacting laws that promote economic growth. I mean, that's the number one component of the solution. You know, we need more revenue, but we need to increase revenue the old-fashioned way by growing our economy. And you do that with getting our debt and deficit under control, repealing the health care law that we can't afford? How about utilizing America's own energy resources? Regulatory reform, pro-growth tax reform, those are basically the pillars underneath what the Romney-Ryan plan would be.
How do we build manufacturing back up in this country? I mean, my grandmother was a shoemaker for Bass Shoe for 35 years in Lewiston, Maine. All those mills in the Northeast, like in a lot of places around the country, they're gone. Or is that era, the manufacturing era in our country, gone for good?
Absolutely not. Listen, I'm a manufacturer. 80% of my customers are here in America. I wouldn't dream of manufacturing for my domestic customers anywhere other than America. And the only thing holding us back, I mean, we're still the largest market. Most manufacturers want to be close to their customers. The thing that's holding us back is because of our tax environment, our regulatory environment. We have made America a very unattractive place for global business investment. If we just benchmark about, with other global competitors, their tax rates, their regulatory environment, trust me, American manufacturing can come roaring back.
Now, what are you expecting from Mitt Romney when he takes the stage on Thursday night? There are still 50% of Americans who say they don't think Mitt Romney understands them.
Yeah, they haven't met Mitt Romney like I have. They haven't met Ann Romney. They haven't met Paul and Jana Ryan. These are fine individuals. This is an opportunity for Governor Romney and Paul Ryan to look Americans in the eye with no filter, speak to them, touch their hearts as well as speak to their minds. Both men are fine individuals. They'll have that. That is what they will do on Wednesday and Thursday night.
Terrific.
Great.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the time.
Oh, not a problem. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you.